Okay, so here's a picture we saw just a moment ago. This is what it looked like. Bretonnia turn 2. I get the double charge into his unit of Blackguard, and who's been whittled down considerably, so I think he's going to do some wounds on me, but I think I'm going to do enough wounds. I mean, heck, my horses should do enough wounds to kill the rest of his Blackguard. So I'm kind of excited about how that turned out. So at the end of Bretonnia turn 2, it looked like that. Yeah, so that didn't work out as planned. I think I ended up killing one of his guys. He had always strike first. His lord got into a challenge with my champion. I think he did 2 wounds on me, but because it was a challenge, he got D3 wounds each, and he rolled 3 for each, so we had combat res 6 right there. His assassin popped up, assassinated my BSB, so got a couple more wounds, plus I'm losing the BSB and the +1 virtue combat res. And then all the attacks I had back, I just whiffed. There was I killed one guy, so he won combat by just a ton. I had had a chance to roll snake eyes. Of course, I didn't, and they fled. And that was my turn. So on his turn, he's just going to charge in my general, and things are going to get really ugly at that point. And it's funny because I was bringing my general out behind that unit so I could get line of sight as the Hydra came around the building, thinking there was no way on earth that those two units of mine would break. And that was a nasty, nasty, nasty surprise. So that makes things interesting. So on this side of the board, his Dark Riders rally and scoot on the other side of my Pegasus Knight, which isn't a big deal because I can charge 360. His chariots move up just a little bit. His Blackguard charges into my general, killed him like he's nothing. Overrun into the rear of both of those fleeing units of knights, and they both run off the board. And at that point, that's the game. I mean, I have nothing left that's going to be able to counter all the things that he has. We're going to try, but that was pretty devastating right there. So on this side of the board, he's got this flank totally on his own since my Pegasus Knights failed me. His Hydra breathed on my men-at-arms, killed half that unit. They had to take a panic test, and they fled. And so everything on the right flank is his, and everything in the middle is his. And the only thing I really have at all is that left flank, kinda. So I take the big block of Knights of the Realm and go ahead and charge his Cauldron of Blood, just so I can. It's the only thing I was really going to be able to charge into. I didn't want to charge that Black Knight unit again. I took the fast cav up there to make it so that his chariot couldn't charge me, but now that I see this picture, he could see me and he gets a free pivot. I don't think he has to wheel in order to get in my flank. So if anybody knows the rule on that, that'd be nice to know. If he has to wheel, I think I have him blocked and he'd have to charge those fast cav, but if he gets a free pivot, I think he has that charge in my flank. And I didn't want that because I know that Cauldron of Blood is very likely not going to be broken in combat. The Knights Errant on the left charged and broke his other Coldwind chariot. My 360 line of sight Pegasus Knight charged into the rear of his fast cav. And other than that, I'm just shooting. I lobbed a stone over at his Hydra, and I misfired. And I moved my archers 4 inches so I could get line of sight on his Blackguard, hoping just to kill the rest of them off through Peasant Bowman, which would have just been beautiful poetic justice, but that was not to be. I think I killed just one more. So here's a shot of my men-at-arms fleeing off the board. Everybody else is just moving around doing whatever they want, and for the most part he's ignoring my knights up at the top. Right, so there's me winning combat with his fast cav, still duking it out with the Cauldron of Blood, and not much has changed there. Sorry, it's bogging down. Brett turn 4, you can see that I've whittled another guy or two off of that Dark Elf unit. But now things are going to get ugly because his Hydra and his Coldwind Chariot and the Blackguard are all poised to to charge my archers and my trebuchet. And against Dark Elves, I'm finding though that really is a serious threat for them. So there's not a lot of points on the board for me with those guys, but they do represent a significant risk to all three of those units. So battle's still raging with the Cauldron of Blood. My Knights Errant are sweeping around to see if I can get some points from the crossbowmen. Dark Elf turn 5, he charges me. My crewmen on the trebuchet fail their terror test from the Hydra. They flee. There's no purpose in fleeing with my bowmen because they're just going to get chased down. So I stand and let them obliterate me with this Golden Chariot. And that Pegasus Knight up in the upper left-hand corner gets shot by his bolt thrower and loses its last wound. So things are going down in a hurry. And on this side of the board, you can see he's just moving his... I mean, there's only one turn left, so he's just kind of moving his guys away from my knights a little bit. So by the end of the round, we finally got that Cauldron of Blood killed off. So that's going to allow me on my turn to sweep around and try to line up a charge. So predictably, his Cauldron Chariot wiped out all of my bowmen. The trebuchet's gone. Brett turn 5. I take both those knights. I wheel around the building. I'd have charged his sorceress, but my guys wouldn't have had line of sight. I can't even see her in this picture. But I'm just going to take out the crossbowman and try to get as many points as I can. So on his turn, he turns around to face me, forms up with the rank. On my turn, I charge into him and totally wipe him out. And at the end of the game, that's what the board looked like. So we didn't really add up the points. I'm really sure that was a massacre if we were going by a traditional scoring system. All I have left on the board are those 2 blocks of knights, and he gets, he still has plenty of stuff out there. So devastating loss. I ended up taking 3rd place overall in the tournament. Technically, I got second best overall because the 2nd place player got best general. It's kind of confusing, but anyway, for the most part, I took 3rd place overall in the tournament, so can't complain about that. This game was a great learning experience. I really enjoyed playing against this list. I think it just I'm going to have to be smarter about how I handle that Blackguard unit. Although, truth be told, I don't know if I would have done much differently. He was down to 9 guys. It was an awful, enticing charge. So if anybody has an opinion on that, on how I should have handled that the Blackguard unit when they were down to 9 models in front of all my knights, I'd be very, very curious as to your feedback. Anyway, that's the game and that's the tournament. Hope you enjoyed it.